Hello dear friends, welcome back to Ek Mulaqat. We as human beings spend a lot of time for formal education, sometimes 15 to 20 years. And when we start facing life, it is altogether a different story. But there is one thing, there is one source from we can learn life and we can learn our life lessons. That is from people who have successfully crossed challenges, who has gone forward in life and who has kept their principles intact. That is why we have Ek Mulaqat. And today we have someone special, especially I think all of youth who are watching or listening to this. He is Yaduveer Krishnadatta Chamraja Wadiyar. Yes, from the name you have guessed him right. He is the current Maharaja of Mysore. And it will be an interesting discussion. Let us welcome him. Sir, welcome to Ek Mulaqat. Welcome to Godlywood Studio. Sir, we are extremely glad that you are here, and I wouldn't hide my happiness because I'm meeting a Maharaja for the first time. For the sake of the audience, I would like to know from you, sir, how do you look at life being from the royal family? How do you look at life? What are your priorities right now?
We look at life very similar to everyone else. There's no different. Of course, there are a few traditions and practices in the palace which we follow and which our ancestors have handed down to us, which we will obviously keep intact and hand down to our successors. But it is an honor to be here at the Brahma Kumaris headquarters. Of course, originally at Mount Abu, but now, of course, main activities are here. So it's an honor to be here and see so many of our fellow Brahma Kumaris from Karnataka as well here. So it's a pleasure to be here and interact with everyone and see all the great work happening here.
Sir, being from the royal family, of course, we know that by 1948, I think, the princely state merged with the Republic of India. And after that, we haven't had much of the monarchy. But still, people have a very strong emotional bond, kind of love and reverence when they look at the royal family. So, how have you felt this? How have you experienced this?
Well, yes, of course, we were acceded to the Dominion of India in 47 and merged with India in 1950. And since then, we have all supported and encouraged the system of democracy, and we are all for it. But of course, as you say, the history of India has been charted by many rulers and many dynasties, and their active participation along with the people of India has resulted in what we have today as Bharat. And our civilizational values, etc., are all stemmed from many dynasties thousands of years ago. So obviously there is a link between the people and those who ruled in those days, and that continues to this day as we continue to uphold the cultural values and the legacy and represent that in our prayers and in our traditions. So yeah, it's an honor, it's a privilege, and it's a duty that we carry on going forward.
Sir, since we have a very short time, I would also like to know from you a little bit about the Wadiyar dynasty and its rule and the related things.
So so the formal origin of our family is in 1399 Common Era, and it is believed that two brothers from Dwaraka came down called Yaduraya and Krishna, and they were both came down from Dwaraka, and they were on pilgrimage to the small temple town of Melkote, which is very near Mysore. And then they came to Mysore, and of course there they heard of the plight of the Rajmata, whose daughter, one of the Dalwais, was trying to marry her so that he can become the ruler there. So they aid the mother, defeat this usurper, and then marry the daughter. So that's where Yaduraya starts his rule, and he is considered the originator of my dynasty. From him onwards, there have been 25 Maharajas who ruled the state, and there have been 27 of us who have continued the tradition. It is a long-standing relation with the people of what is now Karnataka state, and it is again a tremendous honor, and we uphold that legacy. Of course, famously in the modern era, in the mid 1930s, 1920s and 1930s, was considered the golden age of Mysore because of the benevolent rule of Krishnadatta IV.
Definitely, sir. Even we from Kerala, we have heard about the Wadiyar dynasty. So the fame has been all over India, definitely, but definitely there in the South Indian area. Sir, looking at the change which has happened in the society from the era of 1940s and 50s, and now it is 2022, how do you look at the change? And is it desirable the modern technology and all those things has come and invaded the human minds more than, maybe more than people have thought of? So how do you look at the
Well, I mean, I
development
think
which happened?
change is absolutely random and it will come whether we like it or not. I believe it is our duty to see that we accept it in a positive way and make sure that its narrative is charted in a positive way.
Hmm.
So while there is a lot of negative from definitely from technology, and we must know that there is negative, there is tremendous positive. I think it outweighs the negative by far. And if we can make sure that this education or this skilling people to learn what it is to interact with your devices and use this technology in the right
Hmm.
way,
Hmm.
it can be made to benefit humanity in general. But then again, if you sort of inculcate bad values and show all the negativity about it, I believe it can also harm humanity in the same way. So it is up to us to chart our way forward. And every time new technology has come into place, it has been the course of humanity to chart it in a positive way. So certainly, if we take the right steps, I believe all these changes can be made to better ourselves as humans.
Definitely, sir. The youth will be watching. And what makes me glad today is when I heard your name that you are coming, and I was picturing a old Maharaja, to tell you the truth. And when I saw in the profile that you are 23, suddenly the youth of India, we are an amazingly, surprisingly young country, and you represent the youth of India. And the youth is into social media and all the things connected with that. Uh, I just wanted to know, are you active in the social media? Do you
Of
use
course,
it?
of course. Firstly, 23. I was 23 when I came, got adopted. I'm now 30, of
Okay,
course.
okay, okay.
I'm 30 now, but nonetheless, social media has played a great part in, interacting with people and understanding how to get my message across and let people also have a window into, what the affairs of the palace, which I believe are crucial to seeing the traditions of our state and honoring that going forward. And it's a means of interacting and keeping in touch with everyone, because obviously you cannot go out and meet everyone, but social media gives you this chance to interact with a greater amount of people. So it's, I think, been a very beneficial tool, and if used in the right way, it is certainly can be used to benefit yourselves and those in who are want to be interacting with you and those in your society. So certainly it's been a very beneficial tool, and used in a positive light, it is very positive and certainly has been a positive impact to my life.
Sir, being from the background of a royal family and having this great reputation of the Wadiyar dynasty, how do you look at social service? Because there are a lot of institutions, NGOs, and people, individuals interested in social service, trying to do something for the society. So, from you, I think audience will be like to hearing this. How do you look at this?
So, I mean, social service, I think something should be is something that should be inculcated from a very young age. It is traditionally a Bharatiya value, a very Indian value, and I think all our ancestors practiced it. I think in the new age, and as we try to adopt to what was a global citizenship and being aware of globally, we sort of maybe have forgotten it to a little extent. But I
Mm-hmm.
think in large society has this idea of social service, and it's extremely important in a country like India, where we depend on brotherhood or a sisterhood to take us forward. So certainly
Mm-hmm.
something that should be inculcated at a very young age, and something we should devote time to, even though we are professionally, of course, all of us committed to
Yes, yes,
our
yes.
jobs and our ways of livelihood. It's certainly something that we should do, and if spend some time. It's not like compulsory, but 3 hours a week, 2 hours a week isn't asking very much, and it'll better yourself in the end.
Sir, Rajyoga, as being taught by the Brahma Kumaris, believes that every human soul basically is a king who can rule over the
Sure.
sense organs. So that is what Brahma Kumaris has been trying to teach the society, spread these values in the society, so that every human being live with dignity, with the self-respect that who they are. So you are in the headquarters right now. I think this is your first visit.
True.
So tell us something about that.
No, I've always admired the Brahma Kumaris for various other values, not just the Rajyoga practice that they're trying to enshrine in people. The fact that it is majority women-led initiative and gives impetus to women to lead is something that's extremely laudable. And just today, when we were touring the facility, the fact that environmental friendliness, or rather having a environment friendly means of sustaining this campus, is such an emphasis is placed on that, is something that is very laudable and should be appreciated by all of us, especially our generation. Coming back to the Raj Yoga thing, of course, extremely important to conquer our own selves and our own wills and our own minds in order to better ourselves. The act of meditation, or the act of dhyana, as known to us all, is purely so that we build better concentration and we build more sturdy, determined individuals. So no doubt it is something that Brahma Kumaris has envisioned rightly so in its ideals, and something that is should be appreciated and encouraged more in all of us.
Sir, finally, before we wind up, audience, especially the youth, would like to know from you. I mean, what is it that you have in mind for them? What message would you like to? Because they can get inspired by
Certainly.
special personalities, and so what message would you like to give the youth of India?
Being, of course, of my fellow generation, I wouldn't know better than anyone else that we don't like to school anybody. But nonetheless, I think an important message is always learn to sort of kickstart aside or devote some time to not necessarily spiritual, but towards meditation and towards yoga, which will definitely benefit your overall quality of living. And I think that has helped me certainly in understanding and being a more determined person. And that would be my small message to all of my generation.
Sir, thanks a lot. We are running out of time. You have a very tight schedule, so unfortunately, I should say, from the side of the audience, sir, we are winding this up. And thanks a lot for taking time, even though it was a few minutes. I think you've given such a lot of inspiration, especially to the youth of India. Thanks a lot for coming.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. So that's all for today, dear friends. It has been great talking to Sri Yaduveer ji. Being from the royal family, the famous Wadiyar family, it is great to see his vision for the whole country. And he is for the social media and all the technological advancements, and for all the youth who is listening. It is a great message, because we need to move with the technology, but at the same time, we need to keep our morals, we need to keep the foundation very strong, because that is where the new India springs from. That is where the new world springs from. That is a vision all of us are holding. So let us be very clear about this and do dedicate some time for meditation and practice of moral values. So with that note, let us end today's Ek Mulaqat, and we'll bring another guest in another episode. Till then, it's a goodbye from all of us in the studio.